we are going to be discussing a question that I just got. So I am looking at some of the questions across my social media genre. I've got Instagram, I've got YouTube, I've got my own personal text message, my email. I'm not one of those guys that really likes to hide anything. You know, you can reach me on my cell phone, you can reach me on my email, and it's me. You're getting me because ultimately what I really want to do is educate and be a student and be a teacher and be a guider and be a learner. You know, I think that that's what life's all about. It's not necessarily stepping to a space and saying I'm an expert in this. I think it's really impressive to kind of showcase you going through it, and as you're going through it, helping others along the way. It's not about like, hey, here's the journey. Once I get to the castle, then I can actually distribute the wealth, because that's that ideology, right? Oh, I'm gonna make tons of money and then I'm gonna help people. And I wonder about that. I wonder if you really, when you get there, if you really would help people, if that would be your calling, or would that Lamborghini and those nice shoes kind of step up a little bit more? So it's kind of an interesting thought. You know, I prefer, and I've had it before in my life, I prefer now to actually give along the way. And I don't have a ton of money to give out and distribute along the way, but I've got time and I've got my experience. And those two things are becoming more and more valuable as I get older and older and older. So dispensing that has always been something I love to do. And now, easier than ever, it can be done through a camera. So a friend of mine just said, hey, just out of curiosity, do you ever get stressed? And they asked me this question because this person, she's never seen me stressed in my life. And yes, I do get stressed. There are things that stress me out, but that's usually when I have people in my area, in my space, in my vicinity, putting stresses on me, or I've taken it upon myself to do something that's a little bit out of my reach. I've overextended my promises, right? I've bitten off more than I can chew. So those couple things are a really big deal. We architect our life. Right? We build our own castle. And when you step into a space and say, listen, I want to have a job and I want to get paid for it, you're also saying to the world, I want to build somebody else's castle and help them work on it. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. But that takes away from building your own castle. That doesn't mean you can't work on yourself. It doesn't mean you can't have any personal growth. It doesn't mean you can't have a social life. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. It just means the majority of your time is going to work on this particular project and not on yours. You can still allocate time to that, but we know life gets pretty busy with kids and families and all that stuff. It gets tough. So the two biggest factors that I've noticed in stress are family and work environment. I'm the kind of guy that I don't like to be told what to do, and I don't like working on somebody else's brand if they're not going to encourage me and better me. So that's one of the reasons I've stepped away and tried to build other people's brands and my own. And the other people's brands that I build them for people I really, really, really like. And so it's enjoyable for me to help them, as well as building my own personal brand. So that's me building my own castle. And I put the moat around it. I'm very particular about who's coming into this castle, who lives in this little village. You get to make those choices. And that is awesome. And that's the underlying factor of having the 5 people that surround you, right? That are going to be most effective in your life. And you're going to be representing them the most, those 5 people. That's what it is. It's, hey, create your own castle, create your own village, and then people who want to live there are going to come and live there. If your castle is all about negativity, well, guess what? People are going to want to live there, but it's all going to be people that love negativity and love to complain to each other. If you want to build something on positivity, or you want to build something that you feel has a great contribution to the world, people are going to want to come live in that particular environment. Like Apple builds a company and they have this incredible motto, right? Their motto is, in everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking different. You know, so it's like, whoa, anybody who thinks different, which is a lot of us want to think we are, thinking differently, we want to go to those products. It makes us feel like we're unique. Even if we're the same and everybody's flooding to get the same product, it makes us feel individually different because Apple has sold us on why they're doing what they are doing. They've built the castle and now people come to that. They've built that kind of company motto. Everybody knows what they stand for. So it doesn't matter if they make shoes or iPods or television screens, doesn't matter. We buy it because we believe in what they've built. Their castle is strong, it stands really firm, and we know what it stands for. So we go into that space knowing what that castle is all about. Most people don't define. They actually kind of work on other people's castle and they don't really enjoy it and they complain the whole time. So the stresses that we have, I think it's really important to understand that these are the two factors that come into our space from stress. The reason I'm not a very stressful person is because I have great control over my own businesses and my own company. And I have incredible control over my family. This is a tough thing. Like, I love my family to death, but they sometimes put things on me to do things, to talk to my brother about something. You know, my stepdad wants me to talk to my mom about something. There's all these factors at play. And I just say no. It's actually that simple word. I just say no. I'm not reliable for you. I'm not reliable in that area for you. And that changes the game for everything. People don't rely on me to now do their bidding. They don't rely on me to call me and vent to me about their stresses and their worries and stuff. It doesn't mean I'm not a good listener. It just means I'm very selective about who comes in my space, and especially what they say to me when they're in my space. I'm not just going to sit there and let you dump all your problems on me, because you can do that to anybody. And I'm not going to feed that back and go, oh, really? How did that work out? What did you say to her? The gossipy stuff, not into it. I want to talk about, listen, okay, I see the problem. Okay, I see what's going on. Let's talk about the fix. And when I go into that fix position, some people are all about it. Others, they're not really that interested. They just wanted to vent and tell me what their problems were. That's what I won't allow. Even with my own family. So I got no problem doing it to strangers, but even with my own family, I tell them this is not going to happen. It's like a re-education process, right? Apple educated us on what their castle is. I have to educate my family on who I am as a man and what I stand for. And once I've done those two things, nobody brings stress into my life. And I certainly don't seek it out or even push it on other people. The only stress I create is that Eurostress, which is that little positive stress where I kind of challenge myself to do this, to push myself a little bit farther and to be a little bit better. And that's the kind of stress that we can really excel in. But it's just this micro stress that allows us to rise to the next. Not this overwhelming, like heavy load that I can't carry. It's like you're doing a bench press, right? If the bar's on there, you can press it up because it's a little bit of weight. It's a little bit of stress. You can handle that. In fact, if you handle it over and over again, that pattern becomes strong. You become stronger from those little micro breakdowns of the muscle. But if that weight's too heavy and you can't move it, you give up. And if you give up, it falls on you. If it falls on you and you've got no one to help you, no one to spot you, it can crush your body, it can cause a lot of injuries. And that's really stress in a nutshell. It's not really causing the physical problems, it's causing those internal emotional problems and those mental problems that you can't see. So you got my physical damage going on, and then you got the mental and emotional damage going on from the stress. So you got the physical stress, and then you got that emotional stress. Those things are super important to pay attention to. So that was a question that I got from a really good friend of mine, Jen. She asked me that question. I wanted to respond to it and let her know exactly how I felt about stress. I think we dictate it. We allow as much in as we want, and we push out and repel as much as we want as well. It's up to us, ultimately.